Good afternoon. Today we're going to be learning from the Sefer called Pele yoetz. Pele yoetz means a wonderful advice. We're learning Alef, part 1. So, Beshem Hashem Naaseh V'Natzliach. This shiur is dedicated for all those who were wounded and need a refuah shlema, for all those who actually lived and saw the massacre, and for the hostages. Le'ilui nishmat, all those who were killed, murdered, butchered, and burnt, and our fallen soldiers. For the safe return of our soldiers and hostages. And thank you, Hashem. Thank you. You have made many nisim v'niflaot. Stories are coming out, more and more stories. And many people were saved from death. You have carried us so far, Hashem. Please, Hashem, continue with your help and support. Because en lanu al mi lehisha'en ela al avinu shebashamayim. Simply because we have no one to lean on, only on you, Hashem. We can only rely on you. We can only lean on you. We cannot rely on anyone. So what is pele yoetz, and who wrote it, and when was it written? Pele yoetz has been written by Rabbi Eliezer Papo. He was born in Bosnia, and in the late 1700s, like 1785. Unfortunately, he died young. But even though he died young, he actually left us many sfarim, many books. And one of them is Pele yoetz, wonderful advice. The way he wrote this sefer, he wrote it according to the order of the Alef Bet, and it is a sefer musar, ethics. He teaches us and discusses with us and leads us to inspire and to grow. Because after all, this is really what we want. This is where really we want to go. Ot Alef, which is the letter Alef, part 1. The Torah commands us to love Hashem and serve Him out of love. Ve'ahavta. It is written a few times in the Torah. We say it every day in the Shema. Ve'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. You shall love Hashem your God. So it's only fitting for the Pele yoetz to start his sefer with Ahava lahakadosh baruch Hu. Love for Hashem. How do we get to love Hashem? It's abstract. We don't see anything. There's no shape. And yet we have to love Him. We feel His presence. We feel what He does for us, like all those miracles. But we don't see Him. Especially nowadays, we don't have a Navi he should speak to. So, one should love Hashem. That's what the Torah is telling us. But how? How to live a Torah life with all the foundations. What are the foundations? The obligation to serve Hashem out of love and bring honor to His name. These are the two things that are very fundamental, very basic of the Torah. love Hashem, and bring honor to Him. The pele yoetz starts by saying there is no greater midah, no greater trait than love for Hashem. Because from this love, then one can come to all high levels of avodat Hashem, of the service of Hashem. And it lays the foundation for all our commitments to all principles of the Yahadut, of Jewish faith. It's avodat Hashem first, and then we can move on to other things. Submitting our mind and neshama to the will of Hashem, who is Borei Olam, He is our creator, is not something that can be done just by routine or habit. It demands a lot more. Why? Because Hashem has created us with tendencies, with desires that pull us to a life of laziness and desires. And these midot are the ones that the Yetzer Hara wants to exploit. As we learned in Mesilat Yesharim, with zerizut, with being quick about the way we do our mitzvot, and zehirut, and being careful with how we do things, what we say, what we think. So if a person doesn't want to change and improve himself, he will constantly look for pleasures and go after material gains and goals. These are going to be his goals. One more trip, one more meal, one more restaurant, whatever. Wherever he finds one more show to watch, whatever that person may find attractive to him. So he'll go after one more and one more and one more. There'll never be an end to it, because it really depends to put an end to all these pursuits. Then a person must want to put an end to it. And if a person wants to change his goal, then he has to put an end to it. But he must want to. It is Hashem's intention for us to live a life with spirituality, a life that is more elevated, a life guided by the Torah and its principles, its ethics. So the purpose of a man is to submit his will to that of Hashem and mold himself into a higher being, as it says, as we say in Pirkei Avot. It means you have to really do what Hashem wants. By following what Hashem wants, then you can reach a high level of spirituality. And just as we learn in Pirkei Avot, Aseh retzono kertzoncha. Do the will of Hashem the way you want to do what you want. Vehu ya'aseh retzoncha kertzono. And then once Hashem sees that you're doing what He wants, then He'll do what you want, the way He wants His will done. It's a two-way street. The Torah and its lessons are meant to serve as the guiding light to teach us how to act, how to think, how to feel. And we actually see it so much in nowadays with what's going on the streets. Where is the reasoning? Where's the common sense that really people should be using? There's none. What is obviously white, people see it black. And what is obviously black, people see it as weight. So there is a lot of darkness around us. But slowly, with the light of Torah, we can push away the darkness. So for us to achieve this, for us to be able to push away the darkness and reach higher levels of spirituality, which is really food for our neshama, first a person must make himself aware of how he must relate to Borei Olam, to our Creator. For without this relationship with Hashem, a person remains nothing more than an animal. To build a relationship, just like between two people, you have to talk to each other. You have to invest in it. You have to find out what does the other person like. What does he like to go? What does he like to eat? What does he like to read? What does he like to do when he wants to relax? Right? So vice versa. It's a two-way traffic. So if we want a relationship with Hashem, we have to work on it. Otherwise, there's no relationship. We are just like animals. We eat, we procreate, we go to sleep, we wake up. That's it. There is no comparison between one who serves Hashem out of love. Now that we understand that there has to be a relationship between Hashem and us. Now there is serving Hashem out of love, and there is no comparison between someone who serves Hashem out of love to please Him and fulfill His wishes, Hashem's wishes, and one who serves Hashem out of fear alone. There are two basic levels of motivation a person can use to drive himself in the fights with the Yetzer Hara. One is fear, yirah, and two is ahava. Yirah is a motivation to fight the Yetzer Hara as one fears the punishment for doing an averah, or even fear of displeasing Hashem, our master, Adon Ha'olam. And this is called Yirat Ha'onesh, fear of punishment. It's good to have, but it's not a complete submission to Hashem, because one did not change his desires, but he's able to act against it if one wants to reach the next level. Sorry, let me go back again. Why it's not a complete submission? Because one does not change his desires. He's able to act against it because he's afraid, but he's not really stopping his desires. If one wants to reach the next level up, then there is Ahavat Hashem. And there has to be Ahavat Hashem. When a person learns to serve Hashem with love, because that is what he really wants and desires to do for himself, out of love for Hashem, this love can come from Hakarat Hatov. Now, the pele yoetz is teaching us how can we get to this love. We have to submit ourselves to fight the Yetzer Hara, not because we are scared of the punishment, but because it's the right thing to do regarding Hashem. to fulfill Hashem's desire. And so he says, this love, where is it going to come? So first it's going to come from Hakarat Hatov, gratitude. Look around yourself. I have to look around myself. What I have, not what I don't have, what I have. And each one of us, Baruch Hashem, we have plenty and more. Plenty and more. So for that, we have to say thank you, Hashem, for all that He does for us, especially these days when we are bombarding Hashem with so many demands of protection for the soldiers, for them to be successful, for the hostages, for the families, for those who are dispersed, for those who moved from one place to another, for the country that there's no business going on. No country can go on the way Israel is going on for over a month, for a month and a half. No business is open, barely anything. People are not working. And so we bombard Hashem from morning to night and night to morning. We bombard Hashem with requests. So number one is to say thank you to Hashem. Or maybe one will yearn to please Hashem. Or maybe, so there is Hakarat Hatov. Or maybe one would want so much, would yearn to please Hashem. To do something that he knows Hashem is going to be happy. In any way he can. Because he has understood, has come to the understanding to some level of how kadosh or how awe-inspiring Hashem is. These are all levels of Ahavat Hashem. The mitzvah of Ahavat Hashem is a mitzvah tamidit. What does this mean, tamidit? Tamid, it means constant, constantly, day and night, day and night, day and night, night, day, constantly. Every second is again another mitzvah, day and night. All we need to do is to remind ourselves of our relationship with Hashem. So here we'd like to explain something. There's a concept that there is Kedusha and there is Tum'ah in the world. They are equal forces. Where there should be Kedusha, if there isn't, automatically the Tum'ah, the impurity, will get in. If the Kedusha is not there, there'll be a void. What's going to fill up that void is going to be the Tum'ah, the impurity. So here, the pele yoetz says like this. Day and night, we all need to remind ourselves of our relationship with Hashem, with thoughts and reflections about loving Hashem. And when we do this way we fulfill this great mitzvah of Ahavat Hashem. These kind of mitzvot that one can fulfill with thoughts are easy ones to fulfill. At least at some level. Not all of us on the same level, but at some level. Right? That we think, okay, Hashem, I love you. Hashem, thank you. Because our mind works constantly, we do not remain without thoughts, not even for one moment. But if one misses the opportunity and fills his mind with all kinds of thoughts and evil fantasies, which is really just imagination, instead of dwelling on his loving relationship with Hashem, this man, the pele yoetz says, is possessed by an evil heart. he has an evil heart. Why? Because he has abandoned the source of living waters. This is really an expression, really. Mekoch Maim Chaim. Because Hashem is the one who gives us life. And what does this person do? He digs for himself broken cistern, broken wells. Instead of actually drawing from Hashem the berachot, drawing from Hashem the protection, drawing from Hashem what he needs, his parnasa and his health, and children and family and everyone else. What does he do? He's like a person who's going to get water from a well that is broken. Where he could have performed a great mitzvah and earned himself a great sachar, a great reward, he'll be like a foolish person going on his way and continues and dig himself deeper and deeper into the hands of the Yetzer Hara. Therefore, as a first step on one's journey to true love of Hashem, I would advise, the Pele yoetz says, a person to get a hold of himself with great strength, be in control of himself, and banish all thoughts from his mind, and urge himself to think holy thoughts, machshavot kedoshot, holy thoughts, even if he does it intermittently, like he does it for a few minutes, but then he's busy with something, and then he's not doing anything, then think again about Hashem, about thanking Hashem, about loving Hashem. Then as soon as he becomes aware that he's not doing what is right, that his thoughts are not proper, the Yetzer Hara, yitztaer, he should be pained and distance himself from them, from these thoughts, and cling to Hashem. Stay close to Hashem as much as he's able to. Why does the Pele yoetz tell us this? Because the nature of his mind is to wander. And many times a person is confronted with improper thoughts. Our mind wanders about many things we have seen, things we have read, things we have heard, things we have seen. So our mind wanders, especially if we're not being busy with something. And sometimes it leads us to improper thoughts. So the Pele yoetz tells us the best way to fight this challenge is to immediately bring one's attentions to matters of Kedusha. Think of something that is Kadosh. Think of a prayer, or think of a shiur that you heard. Think of a mitzvah of tzedakah, of chesed. It might not stop it completely, but each time will become easier until he will find it quite simple to push away any improper thoughts that may present any improper thoughts that may present themselves. Eventually, he will reach a level where improper thoughts find no foothold in his mind. So, we learned that we have got to serve Hashem with love, and the ways to go about it is to be thankful to Hashem and to want to do the will of Hashem. And how can we get to this? Is by, first of all, thinking of Hashem, thinking of chesed, of tzedakah, of learning, of good things about Hashem, that our thoughts that should be proper, And once we control ourselves, and we learn to really stay away from improper thoughts, then we are on the way of loving Hashem. But we still have quite a few things to learn. But this is the number one. First, have proper thoughts. So in the Zechut of Rabbi Eliezer Papo, may Hashem bless us all with clarity of mind, a good sound mind, and may He bless us in the war of light against darkness, and bring Mashiach Tzidkenu very soon.